LPT. If your home is freezing and your landlord locks the thermostat with a plastic lockbox, place an ice pack on top of the lockbox. It will trick the thermostat into thinking it's freezing and kick the heat onto adequate levels. Thanks y'all for the support. If you're wondering if this is legal, it is where I live. IDK, what more I can tell you? If you're telling me to move, I completely agree and I am moving when the time comes. If you're telling me to get a space heater or heated blanket, I have them both. If you're telling me about the law of the minimum and maximum temperature, I know about all of that. The thermostat is in a warm place and the living area is not warm. This hack adjusts the temp a few degrees, enough to make the room just right. I'm not freezing to death, it's just uncomfortable. There are people in this world that are freezing with a locked thermostat. This is for them. Apparently people in offices and classrooms too. Oh, and for everyone saying I need to dress like it's winter, I have a minor circulation condition that makes my hands and feet impressively cold. I dress like it's below zero all year round to try to keep my hands warm and not as cracked as they get from the cold. So I am not walking around naked. Okay, sometimes I am naked, but in general I am clothed heavily. LPT. Are you a California resident, quitting Twitter and deleting your account? You have the right to request that Twitter delete all personal data retained about you in your account. There's a handy form for this here that will auto-draft the required email for you. Link. More detail on Twitter's obligations under the California Consumer Privacy Act, CCPA, here. Link. LPT. If you tell someone you need to talk to them, for the love of God, give some indication of what you need to talk about, or at least that it's not bad news. Does this really need an explanation? Is this really a pro tip? This seems like basic fucking decency. I guarantee you that nobody has ever heard the sentence "in quat. We need to talk in quat," and immediately assumed that there was a change in the household's popsicle policies. Just say, fucking, and quat. We need to talk about our popsicle policies later, and quat. Not in quat. I have something I need to discuss with you. And quat. How goddamn important is each and every second of your life that you can't spare a couple extra words to make sure your conversation partner doesn't spend the next few hours freaking out that you're divorcing them or have to put the dog down or whatever. LPT. Don't just let kids win at games. You can slow it down, you can teach them strategy, but keep it real. Someday, they will beat you fair and square, and it will be a moment they always remember with pride. Asking Reddit. LPT. Need to divide something fairly between two kids? Let one kid make the split and let the other kid choose the partition. Because kid making the allocation won't know which partition she is getting, it will incentivize him, her to make the fairest possible split. Asking Reddit. LPT. Use a fake employee to handle solicitors. The company that I work for has a manager, her name is Alicia and she doesn't exist. Alicia handles everything. She is accounts receivable, she is the owner of the company, she is the operations manager, warehouse manager, fleet manager, parts department. There is nothing Alicia can't handle. She has her own direct line and email address. Whenever an obvious solicitor that we have no business with calls, we transfer them to her voicemail. She's very busy and often out of town, and give them her email address. She is our most valuable non-existent employee. Everyone needs an Alicia. I especially love when solicitors call a week or so after being given her contact information and led with "and quat. I spoke with Alicia just the other day, wanted to follow up and quat. Oh, you did? Wow. Crazy. Edit. It's important to note, someone at our company is responsible for monitoring her emails and voicemails to make sure that nothing actually important is missed. I dated Alicia in high school. Glad to see she's doing well. LPT. And quat. You are what you eat, and quat also applies to what you watch, what you read, what you listen to, and all your other media choices. Basically, and quat. You are what you consume. And quat. LPT. You shouldn't feed ducks bread, but they go nuts over a bag of cheap frozen peas or corn. My birthday was yesterday. Spent less than $5 on some bags of frozen corn and peas, and took those and some freezer-burned lima beans to my local pond to feed the ducks. Literally every single duck and coot from the pond was gathered around me eating. 10 out of 10 will do again. I find that a duck's opinion of me is very much influenced over whether or not I have peas. LPT. If someone gets interrupted in the middle of a conversation, encourage them to continue by saying something like, "You were telling us about." It will help them feel comfortable and make them feel like their voice matters. Asking Reddit. LPT. Your memory is so much more powerful than you think. We were just never taught to use it properly at school. Learning techniques like memory palaces will let you learn anything far faster. The important concepts with the best educational resources I've ever found on memory techniques. 1. Spaced repetition. This technique lets you remember things by systematically reminding you of the information over time in a spread-out way optimized for your long-term memory. Only 5 minutes a day spent on this technique can have a massive impact on your memory. Its effectiveness grows exponentially over time the more you use it as well, so it quickly starts to have a massive impact on your life. Save all. Learn exponentially. The most important study technique. A hack to make your brain store information. How to remember anything, forever. How to use spaced repetition. 2. Memory palaces, method of loci. Our memory is much better at remembering images and locations than things like concepts and text. Memory palaces take advantage of this by turning what you want to learn into an image and location. You practice imagining a house you know well and then in your mind place new pieces of information in different parts of the house. It takes a lot of effort to build your memory palace to begin with, but once you have it, it will help you remember things efficiently for your whole life. Remembering more of everything. The memory palace. Statistics on our visual memory capabilities. 5 steps to remember things with a memory palace. 3 memory palace training exercises. Guide on building memory palaces. 3. Mnemonics. These are basically tricks that let you remember things more easily by associating them with different things. The 9 types of mnemonics. G. Making a rhyme out of something you want to remember. G. Linking together different things you want to remember into a story. Mnemonics. Memory tricks. Examples. 9 types of mnemonics. 5 proven mnemonic strategies you can use to remember anything. 4. Why memory is important. Your memory is surprisingly important for your learning speed. If you remember more, you can understand and contextualize more things and therefore learn much faster. These 2 articles explain in more depth why memory is so important. Learning is remembering. False dichotomies.